every man wants to be better tomorrow than they are today. There are things we want to do. There are mountains we want to conquer. And because we are more of our mind and our ego, we feel like big time failures if we don't measure up to tomorrow. You know, we compare ourselves to other people. And then, of course, we have the family pressure. This is where you are the man of the house. You are the man who is under pressure. When I think about myself, ladies and gentlemen, when I think about myself, I think of sometimes the pressures that I go through. That anytime there's anything needed in the village, it's me, and tomorrow again it's me. And sometimes the honest truth is that we don't have the solution, but because society, family expects us to always come through, then we say we will make sure we do it. Then we go to our room or our private spaces and we wonder, God, come through for me. How will I sort this issue out? But we have already said yes. Family pressure. I know some men resonate with me. I certainly have been through that as an individual. And then, of course, there is the societal pressure. This is where if there was a 5-year-old boy here and a 5-year-old girl in front of us, and the girl falls down, I'm telling you one thing, we will all rush to the girl and say, oh, are you okay? Buju buju, you know, are you okay? Are you hurt, mommy? That's a 5-year-old boy, a girl. But if the 5-year-old boy falls down, guess what? Oh, we'll say, don't look at him, he will cry. Or if he cries, we will make this statement, boys don't cry. And that also is a part of the problem, because you told me at the age of 5 not to cry. For at the age of 50, do not expect me to cry. And that's why we have had the statement that men don't talk. Well, we have been told to suck it up. We have been told, you know what? Wanaume ni kujikaza. So when you are going through issues, then we remember what we were told when we are young. Wanaume ni kujikaza. Men don't cry. You got to stand strong. And that has been a major demon or devil in the issues of men. But now we got to get to a place we bring down this monster of a man must always appear strong. A man must always appear strong, and we need to dilute the statement that a man who shows his vulnerability is a weak man. There is a difference between vulnerability and weakness. And I am of the opinion, and I'm a total advocate of men showing their vulnerability. I've said this time without number, that to men, it is okay not to be okay, but it is not okay to die alone or to die in silence. The devil is like an African politician, divide and rule. Then the society has done that to us. Even for us as individuals, we put ourselves under so much pressure. That is why even on the main road and I'm with my Prado and somebody next to me in traffic with the same exact Prado, I will try and look for a scratch in his Prado so mine appears better. You know, that kind of pressure. And I'm sure men will agree with me, even when we go to the gents, as we are relieving ourselves, we are kind of trying to compare with the next guy. Understand what I'm saying? It is a pressure that we put upon ourselves. It is deep within ourselves that we want to be the big kahuna. We want to be the macaroni in the cheese. We want to be the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm here to tell my fellow brothers and the sisters to understand that a man has some dimensions. There's a moment of a man who is a warrior. This is the battles that a man faces out there. That every morning when we wake up, we're going to conquer mountains and fight, and we come back with blood from arrows. And if that is, there's a lady listening to me and you're married, when your husband comes as the warrior, that is the time to kind of speak into his ego. You know, you tell your husband, my, you have been sweating a lot. You must have been working so hard. But sadly, there's some ladies who are knives and not wives, and they tell their husbands, you are sweating. Who are you with? I saw the way you look at your secretary. You understand what I'm saying? Then there's a dimension of a man that is the warrior, meaning the man that is thinking and wondering, is he going to make it? Is he a good husband? Is he a good father? Is he a good mentor? There's the warring stage of a man. This is when to speak to his emptiness. This is when you tell the man you are doing good. This is when a man should be told, I know you're not where you desire to be, but certainly you're not where you are yesterday. This is the time to tell a man that I trust in you, I believe in you. And even if you have a brother or a fellow man who is a good friend, you encourage each other and say, you know what, bro, I saw you last year. The man you are today, you're better than the man last year. Because we get into a place where we worry. We wonder, we keep on asking ourselves, am I any better? Oh, we keep on asking ourselves, are we lagging behind? We got to understand, man, it is time to be vulnerable. But I know sometimes we're not as vulnerable because we don't feel safe. Men only show vulnerability when they're in a place where they feel safe. If there's a man and a woman who is married here, please be your husband's safe space. If you're a parent, be your sons, nephews, safe space. It is a privilege to be a man, but it is difficult to be a man. If you do your research, and I'm sure most of you have done or are aware of this, that 77% of the suicides are by men. Men largely actualize suicide, and women contemplate or just think about suicide and it ends there in as far as percentage is concerned. And the 77%, 78, 79% are in prison. I mean, have committed suicide. A greater percentage is in prison. Another percentage is not sure of their identity. They're wondering, are they men or were they born men, but with the insides of a woman, with the feelings of a woman? Men are conflicted. Men are conflicted, but we're here to declare that no man again under the sound of my voice will think about suicide. This gentleman here, Mr. Burale, I have tried suicide 3 times. Why? One time I felt my hero had died, and that was my father. The other time I felt I was in too much debt. It doesn't matter how long I live, I'll not be able to pay the debts. The other time was a failed relationship. When a man feels like a failure, the enemy speaks louder. And the enemy agrees with the man and says, yes, it's true you're a failure. All your peers are ahead of you. You will amount to nothing. In fact, the world will be a better place without you. Men have heard that voice so many a times. But the men under the sound of my voice, I'm here to tell you, hold on one more day. Help is on the way. I will say that again. Hold on one more day. Help is on the way. It is okay to be broken on the inside. It is okay to call somebody. It is okay for me to call and I say, my goodness, Elisha, bet I'm not feeling up to it today. I don't feel right. Oh, and Elisha says to me, it's okay, my brother. Let's talk. It is okay not to be okay. But please do not be in isolation. Hear me. Men have been told not to be vulnerable. Oh my goodness, we have been told. But now we have to break on the inside. Suicide should be a thing of the past. Ladies and gentlemen, every time, the 3 times I tried to commit suicide, I felt like a failure. I felt useless. And I said to myself, if I talk to somebody, what will they think about me? For me, the day I got the revelation from God that when you're a man of no reputation is when I'll start using you. And I say to myself, I don't care about what people think. I'm now going to speak to myself and kujichocha. That's a French word of saying believe and have confidence in yourself. And I came out and owned my weaknesses. And I just feel strongly to encourage a man here that I am where I am today, not because of the good side alone. And I'm going to give a story that may help us understand why we're dealing with some things. Number one, I struggled. Can somebody confirm we are all over 18 years of age here, please? Because I want to say some things today. I need a confirmation. There's nobody below the age of 18 in the platform. Are we good?
Yes, go ahead.
Of 18.
Okay. Well, okay, fantastic. And I'm going to give this story for men to understand and also ladies to understand. And it may help you. It may not be as direct as mine or as clear as mine or carbon copy, but you'll understand the gist of it. Now, I tried committing suicide because I was in so much debt. So much debt that I knew I was not going to be able to pay that money. But how did I get into debt? Because I was addicted to strip clubs. I lived a life of high-level immorality, whereby I would spend 100,000 of borrowed money in a strip club. But I'm telling you this to tell you something. Men, for us to get to a place where we're supposed to be, a place called fulfillment, I was tested when I was a young boy. It took away my innocence. I felt worthless. I felt empty. And when I grew up a bit older, I said I will punish the women on behalf of this other woman who took away my innocence. I couldn't tell anybody. And I went on a spree of having women all over. I went into addictions of strip clubs and sex addiction. What was I doing? I was revenging on behalf of somebody that hurt me. But I wasn't brave enough to face that demon and heal from it. And there are men here listening to me. There are things that you know clearly that you must deal with. For them to stop saying that men don't talk, men are just useless, we just want to die alone. Number one, deal with trauma. Are you somebody listening to me? And this also applies to the ladies, by the way. Are you a lady listening to me? Are you a gentleman listening to me? That you have not dealt with your issues. I dealt with that trauma at the age of I was past 35. Have you dealt with your trauma? So number one is to face it head on. Let the pain come. And then forgive yourself for not dealing with it sooner. And forgive the person who hurt you or put you at harm's way. That was the beginning of my healing. Forgive whoever you need to forgive. Deal with it. Deal with it. I said this again. deal with it. So I was punishing by running away from a problem. Instead of dealing with it, I was punishing some people who are innocent. And because of that, I was looking to punish people and making them pay on behalf of this lady who hurt me deeply. The second time, one of the other times I tried committing suicide is when my father died. My father was my hero, and I thought he died before his time. And I wasn't ready to take over the reins of leadership. And I said, I don't meet the standards. Gentlemen, I want us to always be ready to take leadership. I want us to always be ready to lead the troops. I was caught unawares, I wasn't ready, and I felt inadequate. Gentlemen, please be ready. In and out of season. Please be ready. The other time I tried when I had an issue and the relationship ended, and I felt like a failure. And yes, I had failed in that relationship, to be honest with you. But I needed to quickly forgive myself. Gentlemen, I'm asking you one question right now. Are there failures you have refused to deal with, and all you do is condemn yourself for the failure? Are there failures you have refused to deal with? Accept it happened and move on. When I refused to deal with all those failures, I wanted to off myself. And ladies, the one way to support your husband, your brothers, your uncles, or your male friends and colleagues is to always understand where they're coming from. And I'm saying this to say, when I was struggling with all those things, strip clubs and sex and all that, many people would look at the now struggle and be very judgmental. Not many looked at the roots. I am a counselor by God's grace. And anytime a parent brings me their kid who is struggling with addictions, I don't even deal with the addictions. I don't ask them, why are you smoking cannabis sativa? Why are you taking cocaine? Why are you doing meth? I don't tell them that. I go to what pushed them into doing that, which is the root cause. So I don't speak to the addiction. I go straight to the root cause. Ladies, for those of you who are married, sometimes when you can't understand or you don't understand your husband, the chances are there are things he's dealing with. If you have a man sometimes who goes into his own world, does it very often, you can bet your bottom dollar that that man is dealing with quite a number of internal struggles. Please be that shoulder for the man to lean on. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me again to explain to you something. Never ever look at where you fell, look at where you slipped. The problem is that most men concentrate on where they fell, not where they slipped, which is the most important because that's the place you need to clean up. This brings me to this point. Be vulnerable enough to accept that there are messes you have to clean up, and do it as soon as you practically can. Then you'll be ready to move on to other places. Somebody confirm you can still hear me. I could be talking and you're not hearing me well.
We can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So for gentlemen, I'm in a group called Muscles. I'm one of the leaders there. We have a mantra in Man of Valor, leaving no man behind. And I'm going to give a story that I've given all over the place. This is a story of a man who fell in a ditch. Actually, before I give you that one, allow me to share this very heartbreaking story of a man who woke up one morning and told his wife, this happened in Nairobi. Every man, a man who woke up one morning and did not feel like going to work. He told his wife, honey, I'm not going to work today, but I'll see you in the evening. My goodness. And the wife left and they kissed goodbye. The wife left for work. And the man took some money and gave the watchman to buy milk. And the watchman brought the milk. He made tea and they had tea with the watchman. Something he had not done before. And then after they were done with their tea, he says to the watchman, please be informed that I do not want any visitors today. And the man just said, I wanted to rest, and he went to bed. In the evening, his wife comes back home and goes straight to the kitchen, makes a beautiful, sumptuous meal, and then she goes upstairs to wake the husband up. They knocked the door, and he wasn't opening, and with the help of the neighbors and the caretaker, they brought down the door. The man was lying there dead. And by the bedside was a suicide note. He had written all the debts he was in. And they totaled to 4 million Kenyan shillings. How life is unfair. This man, Mr. Brawley, who is speaking to you, because of my addictions, went into debt of 7 million, and I'm still alive. And a man who was in debt of 4 million committed suicide. Now, this is the most painful thing, ladies and gentlemen. This gentleman who committed suicide because of 4 million, he left a note and the numbers of everybody, all the money plus the mechanic. 48 hours, actually just slightly less than 48 hours after committing suicide, a company that owed him 7 million had transferred the money to his account. What did this man need? He needed 2 days to be bought. He needed a brother to call him and tell him, hey, let's go watch football today. And the next day, another brother says, let's go for Nyama Choma. If his friends bought him 2 more days, Philip would have been alive today. One thing you must do to support the man, please check on the man, because we cry, we shed tears on dry faces, we scream in whispers, we ask for help in silence. Check on a man. Ladies, sometimes just tell your husband, I believe in you, I'm praying for you. That is all they may need. That was the most heartbreaking thing I had in many years. Are you checking on your friends? I want to submit to you that the 3 times I tried committing suicide, I looked very well put together. I looked okay. I was the life of the party. But I knew my time, I was going to finish it. Many men are walking with death certificates in their pockets, wondering when their time will be. Today, I want to charge all of us with the responsibility, men and women here. Make sure you send a man a message, your husband, your brother, a colleague, and just tell them a word of encouragement. I remember last week somebody sent me a word of encouragement. Little did they know I was going through hell at that time. I had a men's conference in America about a week and a half ago. And the things the men told me is that we feel we are alone. For 1 minute, allow me to talk exclusively to the ladies. Ladies, please. It's not always you should tell your husband how useless he is. Because the neighbors have been taken on holiday to London and your husband has only taken you to Machakos, people's back. Men are truly dying in silence. Gentlemen, allow me to encourage you. Stand strong, help is on the way. Please do not ever think about giving up. Speak up. Speak to somebody. And if a man comes to speak to you, please do not betray the trust he has in you. But then don't get me wrong. I'm not asking the men to go out there screaming and crying like babies. But I'm saying go out there and say, guys, I'm not doing too well. Guys, I need some help. Some men need hand up, not handouts. Stretch forth your hand and lift another man. And tell the brother, I'm standing with you. Brother, I know you have that struggle. And then you show him your scars and say to him, I was once there. I pray that any man under the sound of my voice will not go into depression. Because from today you understand it is okay not to be okay, but it is not okay to die in silence. Men, straighten your back, go out there and conquer. We have been called the head, and I want to finish with this clearly. We have been told we are the head of the home. The head is the carrier of the two eyes, the nose and the mouth, and the hair. The eyes speak of vision. You have to stop looking and start seeing. Looking is for the eyes, seeing is for the mind. The head is also the carrier of the nose. A man must take his opportunities. So smell where there is a good opportunity. You will conquer. And when your ego is boosted, that's a man who will have the confidence of a Luo man. The head is the carrier of the mouth. Speak right. Do not, and I said do not think defeat. Speak victory. I know things are tough, but say tomorrow will be better. Because the moment we start speaking defeat to ourselves, that's when the enemy comes and shouts loudest. But also allow me to say thank you on behalf of the men to the ladies who are great pillars for men. To the ladies who follow the men. You will come king. I trust in you doing well. On behalf of the men,
Yes. Yes, apologies for that. So we lost our.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right.
Just repeat
Oh.
the part where you were before we lost you. Yeah, because
Where did you lose me? If somebody can just tell me, I pick it from there.
the punchline about what we should do about supporting the man.
Right. I was apologizing on behalf of the men who have had an outburst to the women, not because we don't like the women, it's just because they got us at a bad time when all the stresses and the mountains and the valleys of life was at the fore of our thoughts. It's a privilege to be a man, but it's difficult to be a man. That we're living in an era that a man at the age of 55 must have a Thanksgiving service for long life. You realize now we don't have many men who are beyond the age of 65 and above. It is sad when you hear at a funeral that a man at the age of 50 who has died, and people there at the funeral saying he lived a long life. It is time to rescue the man. It is time to tell the man not to man up in a negative way. It's to tell the man, stand up and be counted. It is a privilege to be a man, but it's difficult to be a man. Allow me also, for the few minutes remaining, is to speak to the man. I know it's tough, my brother. I know it's excruciating, my brother. I know you're taking loans to educate your kids, and nobody seems to understand when you have nothing to buy more toys or a bike for the kids. Don't break, my brother. Stand up and be counted. Tell guys today, no, I can't do it. Stand up and be counted. Doesn't mean that be counted that you have no pain. Say today I can't. I need help. 3 suicide attempts for me. It's because I thought nobody will help me. And to the mothers raising boys, some is because maybe the fathers of the boys of the children have gone to be with the Lord. Other men have just abdicated. But allow me to be very honest with you. You must have a father figure. Ladies, and I said this with a lot of and utmost respect to all the work you're doing. But there is a limitation because there are some things only a father can impart on a son. Yes, the man left you wants nothing to do with you and his children. Fine. There's a brother, there's a mentor, there's a father. But for heaven's sake, make sure there is a man around the children, the right man. And just as a bonus, ladies, when you're dating a man, you're a single mother, the guy may be good for you, but as long as he's not good for your children, then you should believe in that man. I know you have worked so hard. You have worked so hard. You have worked so hard as single mothers. But remember, there always have to be a father figure in your life. Today, men, we are leaving no man behind. And if you're a man and you know of a single mother, be a mentor to the boys. We'll be planning a great function where we'll bring all the boys being raised by single mothers. So for one afternoon, we'll have men who are vetted who will adopt those boys for that day. We'll allow the women to come, their mothers to come. We'll have a special tent for them where they will be doing the manicure and the pedicure. And on the other side of the field, we shall have the boys and the men. We shall have mobile barbers will shave, we'll have a barbecue, and then we'll have a man to son talk. We'll adopt your sons for that day. And then once you're done, we have barbecued, we will call the ladies to come, and your sons will serve you. And then now we start a football match, father and sons. Remember that day somebody will have adopted your son. And ladies will be allowed in to be in the cheering squad. And we'll finish by praying for your sons, whereby the voice of authority of a man speaks into your son. We shall have vetted the man who will adopt on that day. And we pray and congratulate the ladies who have raised boys in very difficult circumstances. And on behalf of the men who abdicated, we say we are sorry. And we ask you to forgive us. Pray for us that that event will be a success. I run the Men of Valor project, and I want to tell you, the 6-7 years I've done this, corporates don't give us money. I've been told by many corporates, Mr. Broale, if it was a women's or a youth initiative, would have given you money. Pray for us that we actualize this, that we raise boys to become great men, as we heal men who are leading those boys. Darrell says, I'm a product of being raised up by a single mother. So these are the people who understand what mothers go through. So we do not want women again to go through difficulties because a man has refused to take his responsibility. And if a man has gone to be with the Lord, that other man can step up and say, we will protect you, that your son will grow up understanding the importance of a father figure. Darrell, kudos to your great mother. I know I've gone beyond the time because I had to leave time for the organizers to say their closing remarks. Thank you very much. The Lord bless you. My name is Robert Broale, and I approve of this message. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pastor Robert Burale. That has been, I've picked my piece. And then, you mentioned that you're planning something, and that should be so soon. I believe it should be tomorrow. As you can see, members there are like, wow. Yeah, members are, thank you. They're showing you love. They're like, I can tell you this,
Yes,
just like 20 minutes, but I checked my time and it's been more than 1 hour. So thank you. Thank you, Pastor. We need more of this. Let me check. Maybe there is one question in the chat before we close it. The question and answer, I can see Harriet mentioned that Robert, I lost my brother almost 2 years ago, and it's been very difficult. 1 minute, you can speak to that, and then we can wrap it
absolutely. Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
All right. I have buried 4 members of my immediate family, my 2 brothers, my sister, and my father. And I know it's painful. 2 years is still fresh. And unfortunately, we cannot skip any of the stages. There's pain, there's anger, there's pity, and then there's healing. The best I can do is for you as Matthew 5:4, blessed are them that mourn, for they shall be comforted. I know, and it would be very careless of me to tell you, oh no, I understand what you're going through. No, every pain when it comes to loss of family members is different. But I'm telling you, I'll just pray that God gives you grace in this season of pain. But I will also not lie to you that that pain will go away tomorrow. It will be around for a while, because it's just the order of grieving. Honestly, right now I can just motivate you by telling you things that sound good, but I'll be doing you disservice because they will not be truthful. That pain will not go tomorrow, it will not go next month. But I pray for God's grace to go through that season. But one day you will look back and just appreciate your brother's memory at the time you spent together. I went through pain as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Maybe CPA Dot, you can read one question before we wrap it up.
Thank you, Eliaza. Robert, I think your session has been very deep. Thank you. There's a question that someone called Kiprop is asking, that as men, we are hardwired, or men are hardwired to be not to be vulnerable. So in allowing themselves to be vulnerable, wouldn't they be conflicted, hence creating another paradox?
Absolutely, and I saw that statement. And that's why I said we need to make people understand that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. When a man is weak, he should be told to man up. Vulnerability is, to me, the highest level of strength in a man. Even Jesus at the cross was at his most vulnerable, and he says, "Why have you forsaken me?" But then it was there that his strength was manifested. So we need, and it's saying the truth, because the message has been drummed up so much. We grew up like that. We were born hearing that message. Our sons and brothers and nephews have grown up listening to that message. But now we need to change and learn as we learn new things. Is vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a level of strength that will take us eventually into upward mobility.
Okay. Thank you. Eliaza, you have any other question? Oh, I think I saw one by Rosalind, and she's asking where you practice as a counselor. Robert, where can we send people to you? Someone is asking where you practice as a counselor.
All right. Yes, you can give them. You can. My office is in Karen, and one near Yaya. But you can give them my number, and sometimes we don't meet physically. We can meet online, and we do sessions. Like very many people I'm counseling who are in the UK, Germany, and the US. So thankfully, the digital space has made it possible for us to have these sessions without necessarily meeting physically.
Okay. Thank you. I think
I've seen another question. Somebody says, I have a friend, a man raised by a single mother. He's struggling to be in marriage. They need to be mentored to be fathers. Absolutely. You see, it can go either way. We've had one who says, is it Darrell, I think, says was raised by a single mother, turned out he's okay. But now this other gentleman is struggling in marriage because what he has seen, especially when a mother is left alone and is in pain, when the son sees the mother living a life of pain, and sometimes mothers will not say, but kids can pick it. Every time such a man gets married, when a man like that gets married, rather, he will be expecting to see tears in life. What am I saying? I saw my mother going through this. Will I succeed in making this one not cry? Because the most important woman in my life was in pain and tears. So it means even this one, I don't know how to love her in a way that I will not see her pain. That is a major problem. Daryl says, to be honest, it's been tough and sometimes I'm not that okay. Absolutely. And that's the truth. And that's why I humbly, and you see, I'm glad these are men saying it, and men not just saying it, but men who have walked this journey. And I beg any single mother, please make sure your son has a father figure, as a mentor. And that's why I tell women on Father's Day, do not post on social media Happy Father's Day to us women who are also fathers. It doesn't happen like that. You have heard it from the men themselves. It's not always easy. Thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to say something, Eliezer?
Yeah. So thank you. I wanted to let you close. Maybe your closing remark. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Eliezer, for the posting, and thank you, members, for being patient even when we had challenges in the system. Thank you so very much, Robert, for making time for us and for these people. As you said, I will give out your details or contact for people who want to reach out to
Yes,
you
that's
for
okay.
help or counseling. So I'll give them your contact. And we have like 4 minutes, and there's someone who has been assisting us in the background. I want to give her like 2 minutes to say something. Grace, if you're online, please say something.
I lost you. I couldn't hear you very well. But yes, you can give my number.
Yes, I'm going to share your contacts for those people who want to reach out to you. And I was asking a friend of mine who has been supporting us in the background for 2 minutes for her to say something before I let you give your parting shot. So Grace, say something.
Thank you, Dorothy, for this opportunity, and thank you, Burale, for a wonderful conversation and just the support that we need to give our men. For me, as a woman, I really appreciate that. So I think for me, I would like to invite you to a session that we have on Saturday. We have a men's meet and greet, and this session will be at ABSA Sports Club rather, Pale KCA, and it's going for only 4,000 shillings. And we have City Muga is one of our speakers, and also Pastor Simon Bevy of Transform Nations will also be one of our speakers. So I'd like to invite everyone who is on the call. If you wish to have more details, we can share that with Dot, and she's able to pass it to you. But you're welcome for the meet and greet on Saturday from 10 a.m. at ABSA Sports Ground for only 4,000 shillings. And this is only for men. Our theme is natural born leaders, the modern authentic man, because we think that men are expected to be leaders regardless of whether you're working on your leadership. Just by the virtue of the fact that you're a man, you're expected to have very strong leadership skills. But we all know that leadership is work in progress. Leadership is, you have to develop your leadership skills. And therefore, we have decided to host men on Saturday at ABSA Sports Club. That it's on Thika Road near KCA University from 10 a.m. And we can share more details on the chat for you to come. And thanks, Dorothy, for the opportunity. Asante.
All right, thank you. I think it's a beautiful thing when women are the one championing about men support. I think it's about time we give all the support we can, as Burale has told us. So at Dorte&Associates, this is what we do. We have this monthly webinars where we focus on specific topical issues. So this month we're focusing on mental health, and the focus is on the boy child. And we want to really support this so that we grow up a generation of men that are truly accepting of themselves, of their authenticity, and being present both with their vulnerability and who they are as men as well. So thank you very much. I want to give this opportunity to Burale for his parting shot. And as he gives us his parting shot, after that, we will each have a good night. And we meet again next week for a session with Dr. Shikanda. This time, Burale has told us about supporting the man, allowing them to be vulnerable, and accepting that vulnerability is not necessarily weakness. So next week, Shikanda will take us through, so how do we deal with all this in a wave that is now more stronger on the feminine side? And that is what we have next week on Thursday. Please look out for it for the joining details and registration details. Over to you, Robert, for your parting shot as we close. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And first and foremost, Dorothy, allow me to, and the team, to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted at all. Each and every one of us here is a day closer to our death. Die empty when that time comes. The coffin loves people who are light, meaning they have deposited everything that they were born with. You die empty, like Dr. Miles Monroe said. And if you die, and none of you is dying anytime soon, when people are walking around your coffin, they should say, there lies a great man, there lies a great woman, because you impacted and you imparted things to people. May your voice of purpose go beyond your immediate family. That the day you will hear these words, it is time to rest from your labors and your leisures. You will have given out everything that needs to be given out. God bless you, and hoping to see you guys soon.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. Everyone, good night. See you next week on Thursday. Yes, I will reach out, Rosalind, to Darrell. Darrell, please, I will reach out to you. And thank you, Rosalind, for pointing that out. Good night, people. See you next week on Thursday.